Okay, good. Okay, so let's get going. Okay, Cap. So, welcome to the Cognitive Human Factor in Design. This is a core technology course for the BSI undergraduate program. As you know, the key selling point of the rest of that of BSI program is integrated innovation. So that means actually integrated innovation says you propel innovation from integrated setups or multidisciplinary setups. Okay? So in this course, this course is going to be typical of what BSI education is all about. It's going to integrate multiple disciplines. This is why you see here. Okay. Is one of the rare individuals who's actually apparently realized design. But in terms of this intellectual interest, this cognitive neuroscience. And so when I was designing this course, we used to have this course pretty much sort of like a UI exercise. That was the very easy way. So when I was asked to take over and design the course, I wanted it to be multidisciplinary. Okay, so bring in the cognitive psychology, cognitive neuroscience, human economics factor, physiology, psychology, perception, and whatnot, and then apply to the problem of design. Okay, so it's sort of like the intellectual engine behind all this design thinking here. Okay, you can pay lip service to the concept of design thinking, or you can be genuine about it. And this is how it goes at giving it a real meaning. And so I originally thought, probably going to have to find three instructors, one from neuroscience, maybe one from psychology, design. It's very important that our guy has come on board. Okay? So the syllabus, in terms of timeline, it might be a little bit flexible. I have to still work with also Professor Narathapon, okay, who's not here today in terms of scheduling, but I'll send you guys this. The idea here is, okay, I'm going to start the main bulk of the lecture, I guess. Okay. Right. Cognitive human factor in design. 5 words. 5 words. Right? What do I want to get, or what should you get at the end of this class? So this is what I guess the modern lingo is outcome-based design. Okay. In the old days, there's no term for it. You don't say outcome-based education. You just say that students learn things that are useful and they're not useless to the society. But now we have a term for it. It's called outcome-based education. Okay, so in that case, what are the outcomes I want you guys to mind? First, okay, and this is very important. This is the first thing you should get. Language is a technical device. Say that again. Language is a technical device. So treat it with respect and it will work for you. For example, right here, the operative word is for you to understand. Okay? So it's not a whole bunch of words. You should see a whole bunch of words in the book. I want you to be very conscious of what I want. Yeah? Understand. Nothing more about doing any project. I just want you to understand. It's basically understand. That's it. So first I want you to understand. Understand what? We're talk about neuroscience, psychology, in particularly how we drive the design process. Okay? Your first job is to just understand. That's it. I'm not asking any more from it. Now, the second thing is an ability to do what? Ability to mentally gauge or assess. This is sort of like analytical process. How different, specific cognitive human factors, We haven't talked about what they are yet, but when you learn about them, you should be able to gauge how specific elements of those things apply in the design context. Okay? Third, I want you to translate research findings. What I mean is that underneath all this neuroscience, cognitive psychology, there's a lot of research that applies to it. Right? So it's not that I'm asking you to read neuroscience paper or cognitive psychology. There are actually research that already translate those things into implications. So these are very active area of research. You just have to translate that into your own design. Okay? So you have to be able to make best use of your research. Yeah, this thing is kind of blocking the thing. Hold on, let me move that. Okay. Right. Fourth. Okay. Fourth. This is a little bit of a communication skill. Have to cite your own human factors, cognitive human factors in your own design. What do I mean by that? Normally, well, for example, we are getting some brand consultancy from our side. So what do we want? We invite consultants, industry pitch, right? Well, when they pitch, this doesn't come up with some nice design for us to look at. They have to elaborate. It's one of those funny things. You know, in the old days, before the commercialization of you just have painting, right? It's on the wall. Yeah, great works are understood. It's paid for by the great patrons, the Vichy family of Warren, right? You either appreciate it or you didn't have the capacity to appreciate it. Nobody elaborated upon it. Well, later on, we kind of democratized appreciation of art. So you see that we go to the museum nowadays, you don't just see painting. You see sort of, you know, this is the artist's example of using natural organization to help you convey the content. All kind of BS. Well, not BS. A lot of them are realistic. But they are conceptual. Yeah? But it's so abstract, sometimes they don't leave it to you. They just, yeah? It's a little bit like when I was your age, I was watching a lot of French movies, Czech movies, and so forth. They're all very abstract. If you're like, now the bus driver from the city. What I know is so there's a whole kind of weird abstract artistic movies, and then halfway through, the bus driver will just stand up and explain the whole plot. You know, it's that simple. Driving a bus is like a journey through life, and it's inevitable. End of the journey will bring no resolution to your emptiness. That's it. So we get it. That's what the movie was to say. Well, commercially, this is what you would need to do. You take your concept, you design the element, you have all this cognitive human factor goes into your design process, right? But that's not good enough. Once you come up with your design, it doesn't matter if it's a process, content, website, whatever, which you can pitch your client or to your partner, whatever. You actually spell that out. Yeah? It's not really techy, but it's not the norm. Not the norm. So the artist has to explain it for the artist. So in a way, you have to do that. And in a way, that's kind of nice. It forces you to be disciplined. Say, I didn't just put this in there. I designed this thing with specific consideration on the cognitive human factors. And they are blah, 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 and this is why I use the calculate, and this is why I use thick bone line, under that bottom, thin line, top, I don't care. Yeah? All these things you have to be able to elaborate. That's a selling. Yeah? So selling concepts, it's a little bit like, so you have to be able to cite your own in your own design. Finally, this is a little bit of a bonus because most of you are going into the 4 tracks. Those of you who are mostly financial institutions do a lot of heavy duty programming and but many of you will be going to the sustainability tracks, smart cities, right? And healthcare. Yeah, and some of those you have to be able to sort of like prototype concept. And so one of the easiest, most powerful tools is interactive visualization. And that can be done very easily in a platform called Wolfram Mathematica. Okay. Now, Wolfram Mathematica itself does not design different. This is useless. But along the way, because the computational problem is not complicated, they have to sort of like illustrate, maybe visually, graphically, and so forth. So kind of evolve this kind of interactive visualization. And so you learn a little bit of programming. Yeah, that's something that now I put in Mathematica and Python. I'm not going to be teaching Python here because first of all, Python is a terrible platform for interactive visualization, but it's doable. Yeah, but I'll that's the bit that I actually. Okay, that's the outcome, right? So yeah, that's what I want in terms of the outcome. Now, in terms of evaluation, I'm going to not talk about it, but this is a standard thing, right? Class participation, in-class presentation, individual group project, midterm exam, and so forth. Okay. Again, I value punctuality quite a bit. Okay. When I was maybe your age, I picked up a book, political science, talking about development in Africa. Talk about big westernization. Talk about how African likes this one, but not the punctuality that comes from Chinese. Yeah, and when I read it, I giggled because it was written about, people in Africa. I was thinking about, that's exactly what I before, right? Right? Most of you probably have more expensive classes than well, other countries. But I wouldn't say that you're more punctual. Yeah, you probably were. This maybe. Yeah, might say probably were. Yeah. Yeah. So I guess class attendance. So this guy, Dimitri, who's going to be a TA, is going to check your attendance 1 o'clock sharp. Guys here, not here, or late. So no more. We're talking about now in terms of resource. Okay, resource. Now resource obviously there's a lot of lecturing, right? Now the programming bit I already mentioned that you are going to have access to Wolfram Mathematica for this semester. So after this semester, your license will not be revoked, but your next class needs the license and figure out. So if you really want to continue with some project, communicate to me or the TA, and then we put it on the reserve. Otherwise, you just go back to the tool because it's very expensive software, right? For you to get individually. Okay, so I tend to think that YouTube is a good source of learning. Now, YouTube is one of those things where it gives you good intuition. No, it gives you intuitive explanation of just about everything you want to learn about. Okay, very intuitive. However, they can be wrong, misleading, or superficial. So the way I use YouTube video, those explained video, is actually to go into the reference and actually continue reading up on the underlying reason. Now, that's another technique that I developed using very fast working technologies like lifetime learning. Okay? So I'm not going to go over that technique. Basically, you use YouTube to get your feedback intellectually, but you're not fully committed to whatever is said in the video, right? You check the underlying the reference resource, you follow up, you read the paper. I do this all the time. Okay? Even when there's a paper the scientist, sorry, the YouTuber is talking about some discovery, show a picture of a graph. Now, because when they show a picture of a graph, there's a little things. Immediately, I will switch the frame, and, magnify it until you see what the original paper is. So YouTuber are very good to know, but if not, I'm search over the author who produced the graph that's used in YouTube. Then I'll go to the original. Yeah, I'll download it for reading later or whenever I have time to information. Right. Reading wise, I listed a few here, but I think it's okay. So you have this, by the way. The main text, I think Ajahn Warashai kindly agrees with me that strikes a good balance between the theoretical scientific finding about human cognitive process and how it applies to design process. But there are a lot of this. Now, I tend to have PDF copies of this. I don't have paper book anymore. Okay. It's not because I'm being wrongfully punted, it's because I have this really weird disease that makes the middle of my eye drop the focus. So I really can't read. So that's why I keep all my papers, which is convenient. So if you want to read something, come to me or the TA. Say, I want this copy of this. All the research. Yeah. Right. So that's but the main one I think is this guy. Okay, and some supplementary text. Okay. So lecturing again, we have 3 lecturer. I'm really responsible for the course, but I'm not the knowledge base here. The knowledge base are these 2 guys right here. Okay, they're the one who has the beef. I'm just giving you the skeleton. Right. So, in terms of class, let me say I kind of designed it along sort of like 4 modules, right? So there's a module 1 that has to do with cognitive, the underlying understanding of cognitive neuroscience, psychology, and so on. There's a module that has to do with interactive visualization. That's what I can take care of. The cognitive neuroscience, obviously, I do not find better. Yeah. And then, of course, this is all grounded in human biology. We actually invited Sam Moore. Yeah, so very esteemed, very well known in the field to give you the human side. And then there's the module we go back to and this is where you might for things like aesthetics, so forth. So let's get into it. Today, just an introduction. So today is class number 1. Okay, so today is here. Today is here, right? So let's see. What have I got? So I'm going to talk about, I guess, 3 things here. The concept behind each individual word in that conceptual framework. Schema is it's like framework, except it's more handy. It's something that you sort of like look into the map. Cheat sheet or big cards or something helps you organize your work process. Like something you should like. So you don't lose the plot. And finally, I'll talk to you about what science part, the engineering part, case study, some of the interesting things that will be covered. So, you guys ready? Okay. Make up your mind. Concept. You know what I did? I literally did this. And this is how I tend to do a lot of, I guess, I'm one of those lifelong learners. I think you learn to do things that you know, people my age think they don't need to learn because they're going to retire. But not for me. I like to do this fun. So we're going to talk about 5 different words: human, cognitive, factor, in. That's also an interesting word. And design. Yeah. So let's go backward. Let's start with the word design. Yeah, so this is sort of like, what do we mean by design? This is a whole frame thing that you should have, not just for this class, but after a bus time, you very much espouse the design thing in the process. So let's go to the heart of the matter. Let's go first with the concept of design. Okay. There are 4 things I intend to say about design. Okay? First of all, and this is a very good habit to have. You guys know what etymology is? It's where the word comes from. Okay? Its origin of the word, the usage, the history. It's not the meaning. The meaning is a snapshot of how we see it today. Okay? But etymology is how the word arrives. And being nerdy that I am, I enjoy looking at etymology of the word. Now, there's a website. Let me go to the website. Okay. These are additional tools that I like very much. You know, when I was 14, I think, I started to not fit, whatever. So my parents decided to temporarily get rid of it. So I went to the United States. 15. Okay. And actually, I came back perfectly when I was 30. But you know what? What's actually is when the United States or yeah. Well, obviously, I use a lot of words that but so I didn't take dictionary. But when I went there, family friends gave me a thesaurus. Thesaurus works differently. It gives you a sort of confident meaning. Now, what do I mean by that? English words are they work by set operations. What do I mean by this? In child language, in another language, you say something in repeat. So sad, you sad with regret, right? Or something like that. You just keep adding. Well, in English words, you can have one word that means a whole bunch, and another word means a whole bunch of concepts. They kind of like overlap. That's why the sentences themselves. Normally, you will say something like, "I congratulate you," or this is double. But instead of saying, "I congratulate you," say, "I share with you," as I said. Why would you use that? So the way the English people communicate, besides the voice and very language. If you say in the same context that you would use the word congratulate, I use the word share. That means something. Okay? So thesaurus is one of those tools that's used in English language. Another is etymology. If you where the word comes from. So I'm not going to dwell too much on it. Okay, I'm not going to dwell too much on it, except that you can look up words like, So this is I'll leave it to you to read later. Okay, what does it mean by design? Right? What does it mean by design? It's a right? It's well, scheme of plan in mind, French words. A lot of it's French and Latin. You see that, and it gives you a sense of where the word maybe originally came from. Okay, so I'm not going to spend too much time on it because I'm going to spend more time here. Well, let me skip to the last one. In terms of design software, in terms of web application or design, there's a visualization already, right? Mathematics. But there's two disciplines that used to be the primary focus of this class, which is user interface and user experience. Okay? But to me, I think that's a very specific translation of design elements to very specific, say, commercial requirement. So I'm not going to focus very much on that. Instead, I'm going to talk about these two things at length. Okay. Now, first, let's talk about what's called form and function. Have you ever heard this term? Form and function? Okay. I encourage you to follow the mind map and click onto YouTube. By the way, these are all YouTube that I selected. Yeah, some are very good, and these are, I think, better than the others. Okay. The first video says design is sort of like you have to make a decision where you are in the spectrum. The spectrum is spectrum between pure form and pure function. Okay? Pure function means you design something that works. Pure form means you design something that, say, pleases you, looks nice, or achieves some kind of psychological effect. Okay? So you can think of it as pure engineering problem and maybe pure artistic. And design is sort of like somewhere in between. That's a good way of thinking. Yeah? It's sort of like a continuum. However, the West has this dictum, I think this was originated by architects in the 50s, that form follows function. Okay? In other words, function comes first and then form follows. And so, there's a YouTube say form follows function, but then there's some YouTube that say no, follow doesn't follow function. If form follows function, we wouldn't have much of the iconic design. The Italian kettle, espresso machine, chair, lounge, all kinds of iconic industrial design from Italy or maybe from Germany, from Bauhaus, this position. Sometimes, yeah, you can see it's very functional, but there's some elegance to it that is independent of it. Now, Bauhaus is a bad example because there they push the button function, but certainly you can do it. Okay? You can have a tea kettle. You don't need it to have conical shape. You don't need to have a bird as a whistle. Right? So, to them, maybe it's not. Okay? It's not. And so this is kind of like a debate. And I kind of like had this thinking for a long time. So this is sort of like something that people make design. Let me give you three the example of what they do. Nature is especially at a micromolecular level. Now, you don't need to know this, right? You don't need to know this. Yeah? You know what a protein is? Right? Protein is not something you need to understand. Protein is the basic machinery of life. Anything you want life to do is done by a protein. So a protein is a device. Well, it turns out that the way protein works follows its form. So it's a function that follows its form. Because if the protein comes from a sequence of amino acids, from some kind of chemical, some kind of chemistry, you have strings of amino acids, but they come together. They think of matrix that's made of stringy things, right? Let's stretch it and point. Then it comes. Well, come together sequence of them. But if it comes together and has the shape of this, its function will be hooking up with things that look like this. And that's how your mRNA works, the vaccine, the COVID vaccine. So basically, whatever the shape comes up with, if the protein ends up looking like a tweezer, its function will be to squeeze. If a protein has the shape of a wedge, its function will be to break it apart. Yeah? So actually, function follows form. That is just a side note you should know about. But here, this is what I propose.
Now, and this is with kind permission, if Ajahn Sorashai would kindly comment, or you know, it's all nonsense. And this is from the, I don't know where to put this because I'm not really an expert in, so I put in the blog of the Basai blog. So let's open that up. There's a Basai blog. You guys read Basai blog, right? Yeah. Anyway, so it's got all kinds of picture and stuff. Well, the way I see it, a design, this is, I just came up with this operational definition. Okay? A design is a creative specification of what? Of what? Of physical or procedural form to or around function. One is to specify form to function. One is to specify form around the function, with the aim of fulfilling three criteria, three types of criteria. Okay? Now, long story short, the primary criteria means this. You're just trying to make it function better. Okay? So, the function here, the form makes it function the best it could. Secondary criteria means, well, it can do the job, but it doesn't have to look anywhere, so let's exercise that degree of freedom to make it look balanced. So it's sort of like a second criteria. It has to do with the first criteria. Does the job, meanwhile looking nice. Okay? And the third criteria is something that's more important to your generation than mine, which is that after all this, your primary concern with respect to design is the impact that you didn't think about when you try to create a function. Function is to carry water, right? But the impact is plastic pollution. So you might design something. So if you design something that carries water efficiently, that's primary design. Secondary would say, okay, everybody's selling bottled water. Let's make this bottled water look nice so I can carry it. Tertiary design philosophy would be, yeah, you fulfilling the first one, looks nice, but at the same time, the impact is minimized. And with that, I'd like to give you a 2-minute explanation on what degree of freedom is. Now, because this one doesn't have the smart screen, I'm going to use my hand. Look at my hand. Okay. You know what a line is, right? Line. The line looks like this. Okay, this is line number 1. Okay? Okay? This is your problem with line. In that article, I say that all of human activity is all about problem solving. So I'm going to talk about one problem. Finding a point. Okay? So this is line number 1. Now I don't have another line, so this is line number 2. Right? In this situation, what is the solution that satisfies both lines? It's the intersection, correct? Right? So what's your problem solving? Find the solution. Okay? Let's find the solution. Okay. If you're not a situation, okay? This is one line. This is another line. In other words, I give you 2 lines, but they don't give you distinct information. In which case, how many solutions do you have? How many? Infinitely many. Right? Now let me give you final problem in life. This is one line, this is another line. Parallel to it. Is there a solution? No solution. Okay? So this is it's life story, life lesson. I have big solution, infinitely many solution, and no solution. Let me ask you this. What are you going to spend your time in life doing? When you were in 5th grade, you knew how to solve 2 variable equation, right? Right? One equation is x minus, right? What you didn't know is that the teacher made sure that it's on. So you grew up all your life solving a problem that had one solution. And in fact, that's the whole thing of examination, right? That's how we create it. Yeah? Well, I maintain that in life, the other 2 situations. Yeah? More common than one solution is no solution. And how does no solution work? One country says this is my territory, and a country says that's my territory. There's no solution. So the way to get to the solution is you test your political savviness to sort of like get to a compromise so that instead of having no solution, you get nothing. Yeah? That's what we find. I'm going to not talk anymore about. I'm going to talk about the third situation, which is where analytically you spend the rest of your life doing. Solving problems that have infinitely many. Now that sounds a little bit silly. So when I say infinitely many solutions, we have more than one solution. In other words, we have multiple. What's that got to do with design and form? Well, it's simply this. I maintain that everything you do in life, intellectually, is solving a problem that has more than one solution. So what it means is that I equate solving for a solution with finding the function. Yeah? You satisfy the function, it's a solution. But there are infinitely many solutions, or there are more than one solution. There are not solutions to the same problem. Means there are more than one form. So to me, the whole exercise of design, okay, some people say, yeah, it's between pure form, pure function. To me, that's not useful. To me, you should say something like, in fulfilling this function, how much degree of freedom do I have? If I have no degree of freedom, I'm back to that problem, that solution, right? If I have a lot of degree of freedom, that's where design comes in. Okay? Now, let me give you an example. So this article here that I kind of wrote. So first of all, okay, well, obviously you know, right? That's the concept of design. So what does this mean? There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are 20 forms that perform one function, which is to give you a upper course of being taken over the grid. Okay, so 20 forms to one function. Obviously, this in this combination. This is very easy to conceive because after all, this is physical, right? Now, I have that word physical and procedural because I want to show you this. This is also a form of design. Okay? When you go to a bank, well, nowadays you don't go to a bank, but you go to 7-Eleven, how you queue up is a design, right? So this is, by the way, a mathematical problem, you guys won't be able to solve. It's very difficult. It's called queuing problem. So let's say, is it better to have very fast teller, one of them, or somewhat slow teller and 2 of them at the same time? And which one would alleviate it? Okay, all these kind of things can be tracked, right? So design problem. And the obvious, the easiest thing to do is the intersection or non. So procedural is also a design. So that's why I don't want you to get fixated on the fact that design is something. Most of the time, yes, In my generation, when you talk design, you think of something before you hand. So I have to say, design is not just about something in your hand. It's also procedure. Yeah, designing the procedure, designing the algorithm. Yeah. In your generation, when I say design, you think of something discrete. Yeah. So be aware that all these are design. Yeah, as an element of design. And let me give you a, okay, so this is also concept of design, right? How do you make something flat, turns into something three-dimensional? Now, this thing, by the way, that I don't know if we give you the lava has a tendency as a concept. Anyway, this is what's called fencing board. Now, it's broken because when I stab someone, this thing broke. So I just use it for the species. Where does this come from? It came from medieval weapons. So it has a handle, right? Now, the handle looks like this. So this is a handle. This is a part. Yeah. Now, the right hand side here, look, it looks more like this of the hybrid. In fact, that's what this is. It holds my hand because when I do basic fencing, I do a lot of this. Rotational, forward, forward, rotational, forward. And if I have to do this thing around the straight handle, it's not efficient. Yeah? So, let me ask you this question. What's the function? What's the function of handle? Allows me to hold the sword. That's the function. How many forms satisfy that? Well, I think one of them. The reason this form is used universally in Olympic events is because it allows me to handle with strength, with leverage. So what kind of criteria we come? Primary, secondary, and tertiary? By having the handle look like this, it allows me to handle the rest. So handle perform better at handle. So it's not secondary because it's not pretty. It's not tertiary because, well, it's not minimizing the use of brand methods. No, it's just saying that, hey, you are allowed to have any kind of grip. It's not all handle. But let's make the grip or the handle designed in such a way that it works best. This is primary. Yeah, and so this is my take on, and this kind of resolve the form versus function. Now, this is something you probably don't notice. Yeah, but I'm one of those things I notice everything. When you take four, whatever, hopefully you're not, yeah? It's very easy to carry one spoon and fork, but you're not going to use this. But in the old days, it's very common. You notice something when you flip it over? There's a ridge. Yeah, my question is that ridge there, to save on material for sustainability purposes? No. Is it there because it looks nice? No. It's there to make it perform best as a form. Now, not only, but the form here is not about something that sticks meat into your mouth. It's about something that sticks meat into your mouth at the least cost. And in this case, the cost is plastic. So it's not like you minimizing the plastic because you're concerned about the environment. No. You're minimizing the plastic because you don't want to spend too much money sourcing the plastic. You don't want it. So you want something that sticks easy to your mouth, but it's light, costs little. So how do I design it so that it still functions best? This, we can agree. So this thing actually serves the same function as the engineering chart that you see in a grid. Okay? So this is very important, something you have to recommend. So again, now this is not even cognitive, but this is what I mean by recognizing signs. Just take a more thinking please put your mouth, have noticing it, it's not recognizing the design. This is recognizing the design element. Now, this happens to not be design elements that derive from human. Yeah, because this thing is about design in general. Yeah, so it's the same thing. Now, this is where you get, this is more like what I was saying earlier about spectrum to pure confidence, right? Ostensibly, I don't know if you guys there's a tradition in UK where the sort of like a tripoloid or upper class of the society they go bet on horses. And apparently betting on horses is high class. So this therapy people attend, and the thing is the ladies have to wear hats. Yeah, but they're not really wearing hats to protect themselves from the sun. So you have something like this. Absolutely useless. Yeah. In fact, you have to carry, you have to hold on to it until walking, otherwise it would fall off. Yeah. So this is almost pure form, not pure function. Now, on the other hand, you can have something pure function. I'm wearing a shirt, it has a collar, right? But if the function is to cover myself, why not a t-shirt? Now, here's when you get to something ironic. This guy is not wearing a t-shirt because it's purely functional. He's signaling that he is so cool, I am so rich, I have to prove myself, or I am so practical, I am so trendy, I'm wearing a t-shirt. Yeah? So it's not really pure functional either. So to me, this is the same thing as the lady wearing the signaling something. Yeah? So even though this thing looks purely utilitarian, I maintain that because of the social context, this is where you start to have human, cognitive human factors. We grew up, your generation, but this generation grew up identifying t-shirt, common man. Because we have that emotional connection, t-shirt, his choice to wear a t-shirt means something, right? And he's wearing a what? Brown color t-shirt. Why is he wearing a green color t-shirt? I don't know, because in the United States, sometimes you wear a green color t-shirt, but people are of that one. Yes? So this is all messages. So what kind of function do you think this is? It's a secondary level, right? It's covering the body, but it's doing more than that. It's doing something else. Imagine that this lady has a nice flower, but she doesn't have to take a tube, she doesn't have to ride a bus, it's probably chauffeur to the event, right? And, you don't need green protection, you will not say people you know this risk. So I'm rich, but I'm not very suited. This is all signaling. Signaling has nothing to do with this. This is still warmer than expensive shirt. Okay. Finally, we get to the third. Oh, so this is another thing where, yeah, the job. What's the job of the logo? Make sure you have recognize that this is made from a company from this car maker, but they want. This is a little bit hard to say because in a way, the design itself is a primary function. So it's not saying it's good enough to recognize this is a Toyota. So let's make it look nice, probably. That would be the second. But I would maintain that in a way, this is also a primary function. Because when they design this, they want to communicate. Like, I don't know, dynamism of brand or traditional or I don't know. Yeah? So, By the way, just for fun, I kind of designed a Psi logo. Let me just show you. Oh, yeah, this is a good example, good point to show what a Mathematica does. So this here is interactive visualization, meaning that, well, first of all I'm doing is designing a logo, an FD and my this one, right? But over here is the interactivity. So I can actually move. Let me stop this animation. The animation is not interactivity. That's an extra thing. So let me stop that. Okay. But certainly I can do all kind of stuff. I can change the color. I can make it long, short. I don't know. All kind of things and, you know. So this is the interactive. Now, this is a little bit of interactive design because you actually influence what the object looks like. But certainly interactive visualization, this is interactive visualization. I'm looking from the different angle and so forth. Yeah, I'm looking from the bottom side from, so let me stop that. Okay. So again, this is interactivity. You will learn how to do this in Mathematica, and the code is very short. Okay. It's only this big. And most of it has to do with formatting. Okay. So, okay. Now, let's get to the last one, which is tertiary. Tertiary, again, this is a little bit of both. What's the objective? To minimize material. But in a way, it could be virtue signaling as well, right? If you carry this, looking out for the earth. So there's a little bit of a mixed juice. So this is like making it look cool as well. This is part of it. But at least on the surface, what it professes to do is to say, does the function look reasonably nice, but minimize impact? Okay? Impact, obviously, now this is very easy to spot, by the way. Okay? It's something that gives lots of color, not too much material. But you know what's harder to spot? Manufacturing process. What if in creating this shape, okay, use less material, okay, but actually more heat energy in the manufacturing. So it's very, sometimes you have to be a little bit more clever than what you see somewhere. But I don't know about this. I'm not claiming that this is high energy intensity. But you can see that this is very easy to see, right? Muted color, probably not typical. Oh, that's nice. Not so much material, not so much weight. But does it require a lot of energy? Does it require a new transportation requirement? Because if you have a box of milk, you can just stack them together, right? Easy, right? But if you have this shape, maybe you need something to be a frame so that it doesn't collapse. That kind of defeats the purpose. But yeah.
So, like you said, right? It's kind of like if it takes more energy, like maybe by looking at it, we know that it's minimized, right? But like when you actually look at the back of the house, it makes more. It requires more energy, and therefore it defeats the purpose of the experiment. So that means this product we designed. Then
I would say no. But if the objective is to signal virtue, whoever carries this, that's what it's what. Okay? It doesn't have to be technical. That objective can be fake, right? Like say, wear a t-shirt to communicate the fact that I'm so busy with software coding, looking out for the metaverse, and I don't care what you do. But in fact, if you give him slightly different color t-shirt, he probably says, "I will get the t-shirt I'm identifying." So yeah, I'm not saying this is genuine or it's not genuine. I'm just saying that you have to profit. Okay? Which brings me to Which brings me to, okay, so let's say, we talk about this. The second thing I want to talk about, okay, now we talk about this thing, all right? So let's collapse this income, the word design. Now this is very good. You gave me a good segment. Okay. Well, first of all, you can look up the etymology of the word in. But even though the materials are here, design, cognitive human factor, this is how you're going to benefit from this class. Okay? You guys know what the last pyramid is, right? Well, I call it last pyramid. Yeah? There are 100 of you. There are 100. 10 of you will graduate be the real innovator. Real industry will innovate stuff. Move things. You will be technology entrepreneur. Meaning that you are going to capitalize, make money from IT. Or maybe you will do, but focus on capital. Ten of you will make a real change in the technology space, design something very new, and so forth. 20 of you will just make money off it, or capitalize. 30 of you will be a social transformer, meaning that because you're aware of technology, aware of implications of the society, wherever you are, you will try to make positive change. And then remaining 40 of you would just be well-educated digital citizens. And being well-educated digital citizens is not be fooled by digital marketing. Okay? So, how will you benefit from this class? How do you benefit from this class? Now, this is where the word in comes in. Okay? For the 40 of you, the benefit is you are aware of all the human cognitive, human factor trickeries using microeconomics. They're very good. They know what to draw your attention, how to excite the dopamine cycle, how to improve the trap to games, right? So they will use that. As an educated consumer in the digital age, 40 of you will be beneficiary because you're aware of the human, cognitive human factor in the various design. Again, design can be design of game, design of process. So that's 40. Okay. Now, the maybe 10, 20, and 30 of you who are more in an active contribution to society, you will be able to do. And you can turn to the dark side and work for digital marketing firm and use all the tricks from the science, neuroscience of cognition, cognitive neuroscience, cognitive psychology to make sure that you're able to addictive that other your competitors. You can do that. Okay? You can do that. You don't have a blessing. Certainly, you will be capable of doing that. Okay? So that's using it to manipulate your mind, whatever. Okay? But certainly, particularly on the flip side, many of you have genuine social concern. Many of you want to talk about making change in society. But you are. Who want to help all people have active then by studying cognitive human factors, you will realize that the cognitive capability skills how one then you will find actually cognitive in your design. Yeah, in your design. But easiest thing to say, and I'm not need to go to class for this, is say, you're going to sell something to old people, how make the class for them small? Okay? As simple as that. Human cognitive factor in design. That's why this kind of competence really in science. But certainly, given the bigger part, what kind of that's another thing. So like you say on with small long thing. Okay, so this will give you a design. So that's the creative use in. So how will you benefit from this class? 40 of you here. Hopefully 50 of you. That's the last period. Okay. Let's take that's what I think of it. By the way, you shouldn't be doing this. This is not good. Okay, you should be taking a break. I know, I understand it. Everybody going to the party at the same time. It's not ideal. So we can actually make a rule. We can say, go into our as you please, or let's take a break. But I really don't care. You know, if you really have to go, don't wait yourself just to be alive. But I would prefer that you know. Okay, so let's take a 5 minute break, 10 minute break. We'll come back.